Hello, friends. Welcome into the Cowboys Report. I am your host, Tom Downey, and as promised, we're going to talk about Jamal Adams to open up today's show. Is a trade going to happen? I'm still going to give it the 2 stars, but there are some updates here. It's been a little while, but just like Earl Thomas, this one's not going away. I think we've all either happily accepted that or resigned ourselves to the fact of that, because they're back. This was actually kind of started by my good friend Connor Livesay, just throwing that out there, but Mike Fisher kind of really got it going as well. Here's the update. The Jets, for starters, can make this all go away. All the Jets have to do is just make Jamal Adams the highest paid safety in the NFL like he deserves. And yet, the Jets and Adams haven't gotten that done yet. And Fisher reports, hey, if the Cowboys get a sense that deal's not going to get done, they're going to come back in and try to make a trade for it. And then on top of that, Jamal Adams, late last night after the Aldon Smith signing, will take a look at what he liked on Twitter. He liked the Cowboys signing Aldon Smith. Does that really mean a whole lot? I don't think so. I don't really read in to what players are liking on social media. But I saw it on Twitter. I thought it was at least somewhat noteworthy to bring up. So just keep that in mind. Jamal Adams liked the Cowboys signing Aldon Smith. Of course, he's from Dallas too. And the Cowboys, as really every NFL team could use, they could use a player of Jamal Adams' caliber. He's awesome. He's one of the best young safeties in the NFL. Like, he is fantastic. What Jamal Adams is able to do is pretty mind-boggling to think about. He's one of the best to play it. He's super, super good. He does everything you could possibly want out of a strong safety. So he's not exactly a true dynamic deep end free safety, but as a strong safety, he's going to make a whole bunch of plays for you. He's going to be that dynamic option who, frankly, was the Jets' best pass rusher last season. That's what he was. Now, in terms of being a true interception machine, he's not going to be that. But as a takeaway guy, he does make plays. In terms of the best young safeties in the NFL, if not the best, just safeties in the NFL, it's Jamal Adams and Derwin James. Those 2 guys are incredible. That is why the price for a Jamal Adams trade is so high. Now, the Cowboys, their last offer for Jamal Adams was reportedly a first-round pick and Anthony Brown, who they've since re-signed. So you can kind of tell maybe they value him a little bit more than maybe we thought. The Jets had I'll call it variety of demands in the end for Adams. They wanted at some point Tyron Smith or Zach Martin, a first-round pick. The final pick offer was a first and 2 seconds. That was the demands for Jamal Adams. Of course, as we all know, the Cowboys did not do that. But as this goes on longer, and as there's less time left on Adams' contract, the price will go down. So maybe it comes in a little bit closer to a true first-round pick. So we'll talk more about Adams and why the value might be dropping potentially. But what would you guys trade for Jamal Adams? Put your trade packages together in the comment section. This is your offer. So if it's something that the Jets would not accept, that's okay. I'll make this the pinned comment of this video. So if you get with an ad break here on YouTube, scroll on down and cast your votes and your offers right there. Now, part of the reason why the trade value for Adams has probably slipped is that A, you've missed out on, half a season's worth of games, but B, you're not just giving up a pick for Jamal Adams. You're also paying him a significant amount of money. If you offer Jamal Adams probably less than $15 million a year, he's not going to take it. He wants more than Eddie Jackson. Understandably so. Frankly, he probably deserves it as well. And for the Cowboys, they haven't been super active in free agency. Part of the reason why is they like to have some flexibility. They like to have at least the opportunity if there's an unexpected free agent, if there's an unexpected trade option, that they've got the flexibility to go out and add somebody of Jamal Adams' caliber. If they were to trade for him, yes, they would pay him as well, because otherwise it simply doesn't make sense. Now, we will keep you covered on everything around the Dallas Cowboys. If there is a Jamal Adams trade, you best believe we will be live. We were live Wednesday night for the Cowboys signing Aldon Smith. And, of course, we'll be live as well in the coming days. In fact, maybe you guys would like a fan-led mock draft. We've done ones where it's just me making the picks. We did this last year. If you guys want it to come back again, hit that big red button and subscribe. But maybe perhaps on our next live non-breaking news show, we'll let you guys make the picks for the Cowboys. So if you want that, hit that big red button and subscribe today. All right, speaking of the draft, let's talk about C.J. Henderson. Is he the top target for the Dallas Cowboys? I am very much inclined to believe this. I believe that the Cowboys are high on Henderson. I'll give it 3 stars because, of course, players like Isaiah Simmons, Derek Brown, Javon Kinlaw, who probably won't be there anyway, although the Cowboys would love to get him as well. But Henderson, probably near the top, and this is all per Dane Brugler, who I very much trust when it comes to draft stuff. He's awesome. I think Henderson, and I think Dane's right here, would be among the top of the more realistic, in air quotes, if you will, options for the Cowboys. But I also want to make note, I don't know if Henderson's going to be there at number 17 overall. You're stuck behind the Jacksonville Jags, and you're also stuck behind the Falcons at number 16. And it just so happens that the Atlanta Falcons also badly need a cornerback. So that's significant and noteworthy to me. But in terms of those realistic top options, I think Henderson's near that top. I think the Cowboys are going to have him as CB2 behind, of course, Jeffrey Okudah, who you're just not going to end up getting barring a crazy trade-up. And as we've mentioned before, CB1 is a need. I would feel much better about this depth chart if you could have Henderson, who, of course, needs some time to develop. That's how, first-year players are. But him as CB1, Awuzie as CB2, maybe by the end of the year, it's more likely. Jordan Lewis and Anthony Brown and Maurice Canady and C.J. Goodwin. That's a pretty good 6-deep depth chart when it comes to the Cowboys cornerback room. But there is the real chance that Henderson isn't on the board. Now, Dane mentioned some other players as well on his podcast. He mentioned K'Lavon Chaisson, who I wouldn't mind, even with Aldon Smith on the roster. I still think Ed's an area the Cowboys could look to explore, especially if Henderson's gone. Chaisson might be the Cowboys' best player left on the board. He also mentioned a 2A and 2B, a pair of Alabama players, Trevon Diggs and Xavier McKinney. I wouldn't hate those selections, but I'll tell you what, I'd feel a lot better about it if they were trade down targets instead for the Dallas Cowboys. We got some special deals for you guys here in terms of jerseys. They are on sale right now. Cowboys jerseys are on sale if you use promo code MELT. 20% off on not just Cowboys jerseys, but custom jerseys as well if you want to get aggressive and make an Aldon Smith 99 jersey potentially. It's chatsports.com/Cowboys jersey. Chatsports.com/Cowboys jersey. Do not worry. I'll put that link in the comments and the description. So all you guys got to do is just head over there, click that button, go shop around, and you'll see the big promo code. It's MELT, kind of like, the winter snow melting. It's weird, but that's the promo code. It's MELT. It's impossible to miss on the page. Chatsports.com/Cowboys jersey. Let's talk about a different cornerback now. That's Kristian Fulton, who, if you guys watch the show, I remain a big fan of. I am fully aware that I am probably higher on Kristian Fulton than most. That's certainly okay. And I wouldn't be upset if the Cowboys passed on if they got a different corner. That's fine too. But I'll give it 2 stars. So the Cowboys are at least showing some level of interest in Kristian Fulton. Shout out Justin M. of SB Nation for talking with Fulton. And Fulton mentioned 5 teams he has met with. One of them is the Cowboys. Now, as a reminder, because I know this is all new for everybody, the NFL is not allowing the normal pre-draft visits. They can't pull that off because of the current situation around the world with the Big C. So instead, FaceTime or Zoom or all types of different virtual meetings are going on, and the Cowboys made Fulton one of them. But when you take a look here at Fulton's track record, I like what I see on film. Now, there's not quite the maximum amount of true impact interception plays that you want, but there are some good ball skills there that I've seen flash up to anything that you can develop it. The one big knock on Fulton is really his length. If you want a longer corner, Fulton's not your guy. That will also, I think, impact him against bigger receivers as well. but I like Kristian Fulton. I think he'd be a fine pick at 17, or maybe more likely as another potential trade down candidate. Here are the teams that Kristian Fulton met with, at least that we know of. I'm sure there are more. The Chicago Bears, the Colts, the Titans, the Broncos, and the Cowboys. Now, Denver's at 15. The Cowboys are at 17. But the Bears and Colts do not have a first-round pick. They have second-round picks. The Tennessee Titans, they are a late first-round team. So that might indicate to me here that perhaps the Fulton draft range is more of the back end of round 1, early round 2. If that's the case, maybe a trade down makes some sense for the Cowboys. All right, this one is back as well because you people keep asking me about it. Dez as the new slot receiver. It's a need. I still don't think it makes enough sense. I'm giving it 1 star. Again, as I've said before, there is nothing wrong with a 1-year deal for Dez Bryant. No guaranteed money. Let him fight for a roster spot. The issue is Dez has never been a slot receiver. Dez predominantly played on the outside for the Cowboys. He wasn't really a slot guy. What is the role for Dez Bryant? Is he really a true slot? I'm not really sure. You could try him in that role. It's probably best for his career, but why would you bank on that? And then for Dez, people keep saying, well, just make him into a red zone target. Guys, that has been tried before. Do we not remember 2017? It didn't work. So you could bring him back in on a 1-year non-guaranteed deal, sure. But if you think that signing Dez fixes the Cowboys' wide receiver issues, I just think you're wrong. I'm sorry. I don't think Dez alone fixes stuff. My mindset is instead, if you want to bring in Dez, sure, allow him to compete for a role. But I don't know what the role is for a backup wide receiver who doesn't bring you special teams value anymore and was an outside guy and isn't the same athlete that he was in his prime. I think quite simply for the Cowboys, go draft somebody. It's a great receiving draft class. Go pick somebody in round 2 or round 3 or round 4, and then you can reevaluate if you want to bring in Dez Bryant. So for me, I'm typing in my 2s. Dez never should have been cut by the Cowboys. I thought that was a mistake. But you know what? I need to get younger too. I need better athletes. I'm typing in my 2. I say simply draft one in a fantastic wide receiver draft class for the Dallas Cowboys. That is the route I would go. I can still get defensive help. Then come day 2 or day 3, probably early on day 3, I have set myself up to have a fantastic wide receiver room of Gallup and Cooper and a young player who probably brings you more speed than Dez does these days. Let's talk about Dak Prescott then. Is he worth it? Is he worth the big contract he's going to get? Before we get to my answer here, I will let you guys cast your votes. $35 million or more. Now, of course, I'll make a note here. The or more is within reason. I'm not talking like 35 or 50 or even 35 or 40. No. Keep it a little bit above 35. Cast your votes. Y for yes or N for no. I'm giving this 3 stars, and I understand that's why I didn't give it 4. I understand if you are concerned, if you are worried about, God, that's so much money. It's a lot. The Cowboys could have got him for less if they'd played their cards better earlier on in this whole process. And it's expensive. I get that. But that is the market. So your options are pay the market or let Dak leave. And then all of a sudden you're back in the Quincy Carter, Ted Hutchinson era. I remember that era. Maybe you guys don't. It sucked. I don't want to go back to it. And in terms of figuring out if he's worth it, you have to ask yourself, how many young quarterbacks out there would you take over Dak Prescott? Yes, I'm going to take Russell Wilson over him. Big Ben and Rodgers aren't that young anymore, guys. And in fact, by the time that Dak's deal is done, Aaron Rodgers is going to be in his 40s. Matt Ryan's going to be in his 40s too. I'm taking over Jared Goff for sure. I'm taking him over Carson Wentz because Wentz is always hurt. You can, of course, throw in Patrick Mahomes. That's a no-brainer, right? You can throw in Lamar Jackson and Deshaun Watson there too, although Deshaun Watson is going to be more expensive than Dak Prescott. Shouldn't that be a concern for you? And then beyond that, you have to remember, you're getting Dak Prescott in his prime. I think it is perfectly reasonable to assume that Dak is only going to get better. Compare Russell Wilson his first 4 years to where Dak Prescott is right now. Guys, those numbers aren't that different. And that includes a very rough patch by Dak in that 2018 season when they just had nothing going on in terms of the receiving core, when you had a broken Allen Hurns, Cole Beasley, and Terrence Williams, who couldn't even make the XFL this past year. So for Dak, I know it's concerning. As long as it's like under that $37, $38 million range, I say pay him, because once you do pay him, the market in 2 years will look so much higher. You will think that you've gotten Dak Prescott on a steal. The cap only goes up. $35 million per year when Russell Wilson signed it versus when Dak Prescott will sign it. You're actually paying less relative to the salary cap. Please keep that in mind. Let's move on now to the backup quarterback spot. Let's talk about Jameis Winston. This has been brought up once again. Still going to give it the 1 star. I like the idea for the Cowboys. You have a quarterback who could at least thrive, who could not just survive with, but frankly, he'd probably win you a game or two. He might lose you a game or two as well, but it's all worth it in the end. He would easily be the best backup quarterback on the roster. The issue is, A, the Cowboys not invested on it. B, Winston's still young. He still wants to be a starting quarterback in the NFL. Why would he want to go to an organization where the only path that he gets on the field comes via injury? You're not going to play Jameis Winston over Dak Prescott. That's just not where they're at right now as quarterbacks. Dak is better. Is Winston better than Cooper Rush? You're dang right. That's not even a discussion. Better than Clayton Thorson and Rush combined. But the problem becomes, if you are Jameis Winston and you still believe you can be a starting quarterback in the NFL, do the Cowboys make sense for you? Does it make sense to go to a place where you're not going to be able to get on the field? Maybe a team like Pittsburgh makes more sense, where you could learn behind Big Ben for a year or 2 or 3 or whatever, or you wait for an injury somewhere. If there's an injury for Dak, I'm calling Winston immediately. But because of where things sit right now, I just don't think it makes the most sense for the Dallas Cowboys. Hey Cowboys fans, thanks for watching the Cowboys Report. If you haven't already, click right here to subscribe to our channel for all the best Cowboys coverage on the internet. That's news, rumors, highlights, mailbags, film studies, and a whole lot more. And I'm making your lives a little bit easier as well with the next Cowboys Report video right here.